Well, the relative complexity of a protagonist in a crime story is determined to begin with by the subgenre of crime story you're writing in. And I've given my genre lecture on the thriller, on crime stories, and in that lecture, I believe I list 14 different subgenres of crime, all depending on the point of view character, who the writer chooses to be their protagonist, and how to go through the story from whose point of view. And that ranges everything from the classical master detective crime story where the protagonist is Sherlock Holmes, who is actually a very simple character. Sherlock Holmes has some dimensions, of course. He is a very cultured man. He's a musician. He plays violin and whatnot. But he's also interested in the underworld, in the dark world of crime. He has a tremendously powerful analytical mind, but he is also very innocent in a way, in terms of he has no relationships with women. He doesn't seem to have any sexuality at all, and so I guess he's really repressed, and so he's emotionally inhibited, but intellectually spontaneous and brilliant, and on it goes. But Sherlock Holmes is not a tremendously dimensional character. He's certainly no Hamlet. And so you have classic master detective crime stories, and as I said, 14 different subgenres, all the way over to the crime story told from the psychopathic criminal's point of view. A film like Mr. Brooks with Kevin Costner. He is a serial killer. And but there's an even worse, dangerous serial killer in the world, and so it's Kevin Costner's job as one serial killer to eliminate another serial killer who's just too awful. Okay, and Kevin Costner's character then is very complex and very dimensional. In certain action crime stories, a film like Taken. Liam Neeson's character is one-dimensional. He is, I'm trying to think of what the other side of his dimension is. He is ruthless. He is unstoppable in his determination to rescue his daughter. I don't know that he had any great vulnerability in that story, and so in a way, he's just a big, powerful type without great complexity at all. So the subgenre you choose really helps to determine how complex the protagonist is in a crime story. And then, in addition to that, sometimes, often, in fact, in crime stories, we bring in other genres. Crime is merged with love stories. It can be merged with the education plot. It can be merged with political drama. It can be merged with comedy even. There's all kinds of other genres that can be brought in and mixed by having subplots of one genre mixed with the central plot crime story. We often do that. We put a love story subplot into a crime story central plot, or they can be merged. The crime story is the vehicle for character change. And so as the protagonist tries to struggle with this crime, at the same time they're undergoing some changes within their nature of one kind or another. And so the relative dimensionality of the protagonist of a crime story depends upon what specific subgenre of crime you write in. Do you add subplots to this? Do you merge it with other genres? And the way in which you handle the answers to those questions creates the need or not for complexity. If it's a simple revenge rescue story like Taken, complexity of character would be a distraction. If, on the other hand, it's a much more complex crime story like Chinatown, with a love story subplot and political drama as well and all that, then you need a much more complex character. And so first you have to sort out which subgenre. Are you mixing it with other genres in subplots? Are you merging it with other genres? And as you answer those questions, then you'll have some guide to how complex or not to make your protagonist.